Welcome back. Let's now discuss designing the new team. The formal team leader is held accountable for the team accomplishing the mission, even though the leadership may be shared or partner relationships established. The formal team leader is the responsible turkey. To be successful, team leaders cannot allow time and space to alter the accountability for performance and the need to output the commission deliverables. Even with a need for independence by knowledge experts, the team must still accomplish its assigned objectives. There is still a need for the team members to coordinate with each other and the formal team leader. This is why team building is critical to the team. During team building, members are motivated to work for the best interest of the team and the organizational mission assigned to the team. It is the responsibility of the organization as well as the team manager to accomplish team building. Encourage the group members to embrace the assigned organizational goals and build trust and cohesiveness in the group. Kurtzner outlines critical functions to building a successful team: creating trust, motivating commitment to the mission, instilling personal accountability, and establishing a results focus. And how do we do that? Well, clear goals are fundamental, along with other organizational design principles. Like any collaborative environment, virtual team environments require clear vision and goals, boundary setting, clear work agreements, and the most important factor is establishing high-quality relationships. Designing organizations is different today than in the past. Boundaries are blurred across countries, cultures, skills, markets, various networks, and alliances. Effective team leaders today must encourage collaboration, knowledge exchange, coaching, and mutuality. After the team members have been selected, the team leader must contact the team and carefully orchestrate their onboarding. During the first contact, the team leader must clearly communicate the team's mission. The team leader must facilitate the members' inclusion onto the team. The extent of inclusion and togetherness depends on the virtual teaming experience of the individuals on the team and whether they are members from high context cultures. A best practice is to have each team member set up their own web page with contact information, work hours, time zones, and tools they use. This web page will often include a resume. Effective virtual team leaders invest in the first contact with their virtual team members. They carefully orchestrate how new team members are introduced. Several factors are important. All team members must understand the team's mission. You must arrange for social interaction before the formal work begins. And you must facilitate the sense of team belonging. This last item is complex. Some people, especially from low context cultures, may believe that too much focus on togetherness is inappropriate. Nevertheless, the team leader should make sure that every team member has a chance to discuss his or her background and skill set with the team, interact with the other team members in some manner, and has at least one personal interaction with the team leader. And all of these, of course, can be handled by a launch meeting. So for the launch meeting, you convene all team members in one location if possible. You devote several days. You use icebreakers to establish personal connections, introduce each team member, and then each team member gives a presentation, their background, their skills, their hobbies, their personal interests. You facilitate interaction between the team members in a non-threatening manner using icebreaker exercises. There are books on team building and icebreaker exercises that have many useful drills for building camaraderie. Also, some mechanisms such as a team directory should be provided where team members can find out about one another. Make sure a forum exists where team members can ask questions and get answers. And find out about technology issues like compatibility problems. No technology can provide the environment of give and take, the natural human interaction, and the understanding that a face-to-face meeting can provide. This is the best way to kick off a virtual team. Some of the outcomes of the launch meeting may include a team charter, a work plan, communication plan, team norms. During the kickoff meeting, the team leader highlights the professional qualifications of team members. This boosts mutual confidence among the team that everyone on the project is able to perform the project work and achieve the goals. In addition to relationship building, the kickoff meeting should precisely communicate project goals, define roles, and as an integrated team, develop the project plans. For relationship building, time must be allocated for team members to socialize. Some effective approaches to encourage socializing are to have site visits by team sections or to hold off-site meetings. So we are looking at roles and responsibilities, tech and communication plans, and we have discussed these before. Let's take a look at some of the design elements we haven't looked at in detail. The team charter is a tool for the private ordering that is necessary to organize the members into a team. An important function of the team charter is to describe the team mission. The mission is the basis for clear direction and effective prioritization. It helps the team focus on vital factors and to avoid distractions. A good mission statement is important to team success. The team leader should have a draft version prepared during the activities to select the team. A charter is an agreement for the team that defines the working relationship. It summarizes the direction and purpose, and the team should participate in its development. It should help reduce future conflicts, misunderstanding, and trust breakdowns. The charter should state the vision of the team, its mission and goals, deliverables, milestones, and sponsorship. The charter is the starting point for all other plans of the team. The team leader must guide team members to embrace risk and learning so they can work in a new and unfamiliar area. The leader communicates the meaning of the team mission, and the leader communicates confidence that the team can achieve its goals. As a role model, the leader exerts idealized influence on the team about how they should behave. Key behaviors are to respect and encourage others, commitment to learning, commitment to the team, and intellectual stimulation. The team leader maps out team performance measures based on the strategy execution plan, referring to tools such as the balanced scorecard prepared by the strategy planners. And by the way, this is a reciprocal process. It goes through several iterations, and feedback from lower echelons helps the higher echelons refine the balanced scorecard, and likewise the lower echelons have input into the balanced scorecard. The plans, the strategic plans will have identified the outputs that the team must produce. The team leader negotiates with the team members their roles and responsibilities. As we discussed in the communications lecture, these need to be more concrete than they are on a co-located team, because there is no day-to-day feedback or management by walking around. Another activity the team leader must encourage and initiate is the sharing of best practices. These can be lesson learned pages on the team website. The team leader must also encourage mutuality. Formal hierarchical relationships are being replaced with partnering to form peer relational groups. This moves from one way to reciprocal influence in leader-member relationships. The team lead should emphasize the quality and quantity of two-way interactions. This will increase trust and promote mutuality. It is built on respect and moral obligation. The team leader must offer team members more opportunity and more responsibility. Transaction cost economics asserts that understanding social organizing is through based on Marxist economics, is through the lens of social classes, and for neoclassical economics, it's through optimization through marginal revenue, marginal cost, and other optimization computations. But in transaction cost economics, social organizing should instead be considered on the level of personal interactions and the encouragement of instrumental acts that lead to a desired outcome for the organization. These interactions are best understood as a triple factoring of conflict, mutuality, and order. This is known as the Commons triple after the transaction cost economist John R. Commons. So applying this to you as a team leader, you must establish a governance on the team that infuses order, mitigates conflict, and results in a mutuality of exchange between the team members. And that's how Oliver Williamson, the Nobel laureate, puts it. This is a private ordering through mutual agreements among the team members to provide the instrumental actions that are needed for mission accomplishment. In LMX leadership theory, leaders perform such negotiations, which is why I like it as an approach for leading global virtual teams. Mutuality is negotiated along with private ordering to accomplish the mission. The leader is a coach. They must listen to understand what is going on with their team. They must train. They must mentor, and that means they share leadership and they develop people for assuming leadership. They must assert authority when necessary without being overbearing. They must build trust by being trustworthy. They must help solve and organize the solution of complex problems. They must foster mutuality. And they must be experienced, or they must enable distance leadership. And some of the issues that'll come up there is from culture. They have to know that there's going to be cross-cultural influences and know their own personal biases and know the cultural indices that might impact strategy implementation. And you can use the Hofstede model for that and some of the mitigation strategies that we discussed in the culture lecture. Small organizations like teams often require subject matter expertise in a variety of knowledge domains, and coaching becomes an essential aspect of leading. Small teams may have a formal leader, but coaching in certain subject domains is still an important function that must be performed, and team members can coach each other or enlist outside help through their knowledge networks. So members can be coaches. So they likewise have to listen to understand what's going on the team. They have to train other folks when possible. They have to build trust by being trustworthy themselves. They have to help or participate in the solution of complex problems. They have to work at providing mutuality, where everybody's interests are mutually respected. And they have to have cross-cultural knowledge as well. They have to know their own personal inclinations based on their culture. In designing a new team, here are the steps you would execute. You define a team process, which is about how the team should function, the type of behaviors that are necessary for a team to operate effectively in a virtual environment. The taxonomy for this process is introduce and connect team members, establish team norms and boundaries, define roles and responsibilities, define the leadership approach, define team effectiveness, and that's going to be the basis for performance management, both for individuals and the team as a whole. Define the change management process and make sure that the team participates in that change management process. And begin establishing team culture. A key to successfully accomplishing the mission is to define the responsibility of the team members. They were chosen to participate on the team because of their expertise in certain subject domains, and that expertise will help the team accomplish its goals. Therefore, there should be performance expectations for each position. These performance expectations should map a role's work effort to the team deliverables. Clarity is essential for the vision that guides the team generally, for goals that guide specific actions, for establishing the roles and responsibilities matrix, for performance expectations, so you avoid duplication of effort, for avoiding working at cross purposes, so you can integrate individual work efforts into team deliverables, and so you can have well-defined processes. Proper governance infuses order, mitigates conflicts, and results in a mutuality of exchange between the team members. This is the private ordering that is defined by transaction cost economics. To create proper governance, the team must understand the team operations. So the team must clearly define its operations, clearly define how decisions are made, clearly define the methodologies for accomplishing the team's work, clearly define project and operational plans, activity milestones, define standard operating procedures, or bring best practices from your own knowledge domain. Clearly define the deliverables. Make sure that's coordinated with the rest of the organization so that they get what they expect. And document and records management processes must be clearly defined. For decision making, you must say who makes what type of decision and who can assign work to whom. To get buy-in, team members must agree with the operations approach and have input into its definition. After all, you selected them because they have the needed knowledge, and who is better to say how to best work in a particular knowledge domain than the expert you've reached out to incorporate into your team. Transparency is more critical with virtual teams. All team members must understand the operations, and all team members must agree with the operations. Also, team members must understand what resources they are able to use in their work and practical expectations the team has of them. So define travel requirements, define the available resources, and define the hours of operation at each location. Designing an effective team will also require that you understand cultural differences. Of course, business communication protocols must be established, and we discussed those in our communication lecture, which was lecture 4. You must define a communications policy, and that would include, among other things, appropriate communication, including politeness. Cultural differences must be considered. Power distance, respect, sharing authority, the other issues, the other dimensions that we investigated in our culture lecture. On a more personal level, keep in mind that clarity is essential. Team members want clarity on the what, but not the how. They're the experts on the how in their knowledge domain. They will do the hows. Team members need appropriate challenge that's consistent with their skills, consistent support, honest feedback, a voice in decision making, and dynamic interaction with the leader. Okay, let's take another 5-minute break, and when we come back, we'll go into coaching. As we mentioned throughout this lecture and in prior lectures, coaching is an important operational activity on the team. So, see you back in 5 minutes.